Hi guys, we're going to talk about some new tools in the painting center. So I want to point those out and where they're located. They are right over here. In this bucket it says foam brushes. There's several different kinds of foam brushes in here that you can try, and some tools that are more printing tools, but we have an open printmaking, but you can use them in this center. Okay, so I've pulled some out and put them on the table already that I'm going to show you. When you pick some, please just take a couple, like 3 or 4 at the most, and then put this basket back. Next, you are going to need to get all the painting supplies that you usually need to get that are on that yellow poster. So the first thing is your paint shirt. The second is, or your apron. Second thing is your water cup. I've got my water cup right here. The third is paint. I've got this kind of tool that we're using today from those buckets. You're going to need to use the wet temper paint that's on this shelf down here. So these, or the larger ones. The larger ones are going to work better for some. Next on that list says palette. You really don't need a palette unless you're just wanting to make your own color. The next one is paper towel. You probably will need this because this is messy. And a brush. You won't need a brush for every single one, but a few of them require you to have a brush. So, last, I have a paper already started. I'm working on a chicken for Chinese New Year, so I'm going to add some texture to it. I have already put my name on the back. Don't forget to put your art code, because I forgot, so I'm going to put that right now on the back by my name. Then I'm going to put it on a tray. So I've got a tray. And I picked the large tray so that I can put my wet tools kind of on the side next to my paper. Okay, so I want to show you a couple of these tools. First, foam brushes. They're foam, and you kind of put them in the paint and smash them on your paper. I would get a goose paper out, good on one side, and maybe test it first. So if I'm doing this and I'm choosing paint, I'm going to get the paint. You don't need to put the entire thing in, and maybe test dragging or test hopping and making some line shape. See what it does for you. Okay. So another tool, this one is a foam brush that does really cool textures. So I'm going to take and put it in the blue. You don't need to get tons. And I'm going to test it on my paper. I'm going to tilt this up so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to test it on my paper. This one makes a really cool textured look. It makes good like grass or like splatters or cool textures. Set it again, remember, either on your paper towel when you're not using it because it is dirty, or on your tray. Another one, fork. Really cool. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to get some orange, and I'm just going to drag paint on my paper. Makes cool lines. Now, if you're wanting to change colors, remember to try to wash it off and dry it off with your paper towel, and then you could do another color. Now, for the sponges, you really can't wash the sponges in here. You're going to need to take them to the sink and wash them out. So go over to the sink, squeeze all the paint out with your hand, touch the ends, and then squeeze all the water out. You don't want any water left in it, and then dry it out, okay? Or you could just get 2 sponges so you don't have to wash them out. Another tool that I could use is this little scraper tool. This is not all the tools that's in there, guys. This is just, I just want to show you these. So this is a cool tool that I could use to scrape. So I'm going to take and just scrape some paint. It's kind of cool looking texture. This is just goose paper. I'm just trying it out. And then there's some of these. These are like for printing. So you could try these also. But this is the kind you're going to need a brush, because you can't stick this entire thing in one of these. It won't fit. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush, and make sure you choose a stiff brush, a really large stiff brush, and paint it on. So you could use any color you wanted. I'm going to do brown. And kind of drag it on like this. For the first time, again, I would try these on the goose paper and see what they look like. before you test them because they may not turn out the way that you want them. I'm going to set my brush in the water bowl, tip it up like this, press it down. It's like a stamp. You're going to need to press really hard, and if it doesn't turn out the way you liked it, you can always do it again, but you're going to need to wash this again at the sink. Here now I've practiced. I kind of like the way the fork looks and some of this, so I'm going to do that on my chicken. So I've got my chicken right here. I don't know if you can see it real great. I'm going to do some feathers with the fork and just kind of drag. And you know, I drew it in pencil, and what my plan is, after I do some of this paint stuff, next time I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out, Sharpie it, put black lines around it. Okay, so I'm going to change the colors on that, wash that one out a little bit, dry it off. I'm going to dry it really good so you don't get red paint in another color. I'm going to try some yellow for that one. Make sure it's not got red paint on it. Okay, I'm going to get some yellow. I'm going to kind of drag that and mix, and you know what's going to happen. Yellow plus red is going to make orange. Now, notice I'm not staying in the lines really well. My plan was to cut it out. So I'm not really worried about getting outside the lines right now because I'm going to cut it out later. Okay, now I'm going to set that one down. I'm going to wash that one later. And I'm going to do a little bit of the blue feathery. I'm going to wipe a little bit off because I don't want too much on his chest. And remember, I'm cutting this out, so it's okay if you don't stay in the lines. So I kind of like that, how that looks. And then I'm going to try this, the foam brush. I dropped one on the floor right here. And I'm going to do that for his neck, and I'm going to do that brown. So I've got a clean one here. So I'm going to kind of hop around. And I'm going to go over his eye or kind of around it a little bit because I'm going to go back over it with Sharpie. So these are more tools you can use in the painting center. And for 3rd grade, I know we have a target that is painting tools. So think about that, and if you haven't completed that target, how you can use these tools to maybe make your paper include inside your paper. Okay. Now I don't have to do the whole thing with these tools. I could get the paintbrush out and I can use the paintbrush. Paintbrush also is a tool. But if you like doing it all with these tools, go for it. I think I really like the textures it's getting. Okay guys, that's all for today. Make sure you wash off all your tools, dry them with a paper towel before you put them back. If they are really, really wet and you don't have time to dry them, just leave them on the shelf over the sink to dry. Okay? So, have a great day.